Hi, I'm Tealish and you're watching Coffee and Clix. If you enjoy my content, please like and subscribe and click on the link tree found in the description of this video for links to my media content. Enjoy, and don't forget, wake up and smell the clicks. Hi, I'm Tealish and you're watching Coffee and Clix. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy my content. I really appreciate it. And today we are talking with Kaleb Redick, the 2021 Bradcast Critical Clix World Champion. Hi, Kaleb. So, congratulations on your win at the. So this was a. Do you want to just, Kaleb? I mean, just to start off, do you want to kind of go into the details of the tournament? What it was like? It was a Roll20 tournament. I participated in the tournament also. So, do you want to just talk about the tournament a little bit?
Yeah, so the breakdown was they had the in-person tournament Saturday, and then the top four from Saturday got to the top 16. So your top cut for Sunday was the top 12 made it to the top 16 with the other four. So the as far as my team, did you want me to talk about the team I used?
Sure. So yeah. So I mean, just for the viewers at home, this was a Roll20 online Heroclix tournament. There was an in-person tournament that occurred, and the top four from that in-person tournament went on to make the top cut of the online version of the tournament, the Roll20 tournament. And then on the day of the tournament, there was also there was like a Swiss style qualifier to make the top cut on the day of the tournament, but that was all done online. So that was all done using Roll20.
It was five round Swiss, and the top 12 advanced to the top 16 cut.
Right, and then you ended up winning that tournament. You went 9-0, right?
Mm-hmm.
You went 9-0. How many points do you remember? I don't know.
It was two. I don't know where I wrote it down. It was 2,200 something. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, sure. And so, what team were you playing for that tournament?
So my team, I went with the X-Men swap mechanic. It was a +10 theme. It was using the Cable with the two clones, Kate Pryde with a Maggot and a Professor X that allows you to swap, and then a Dark Phoenix and 3 multiple men. And I had the Object Reality Gem. And then my sideline for the X-Men swap, I had Exodus, I had Jubilee, the one that goes to Click 7 when she's on the Otherworld castle map, Pixie, Diamond Patch, Second Maggot, Manta, Cypher, Bishop, the Bishop Prime, and then Gorilla Grodd was my only troublemaker, who didn't make appearance the entire weekend. Didn't come in the entire day, just stayed on my sideline.
And what did you find yourself swapping in most of the time?
So typical swap, I always went, if I win map, I go to Otherworld Castle and I bring out the Cable, the real Cable, who's 75 points, and then Kate Pryde is 65, and then a multiple man. And then I bring in Jubilee, the 50-point Jubilee with Pixie, the one that she can carry 3 people, and then when she phases, she drops them within 3 squares of herself. And then a second maggot. Depending on if I played someone who was a range base like Batman, then I would bring in Bishop Prime. I had Diamond Patch in case I played someone with a lot of shape change, but my typical 3 were Jubilee, Pixie, and Maggot.
Okay, and so Pixie would carry the 2 maggots and carry them around, causing trouble, and then Jubilee was there because she was a massive colossal when she goes on the Otherworld map, right?
Yep. And the cool thing about her is she can shoot over barrier. So if they have a Molecule Man or whoever barrier figure, she can just shoot over the barrier, and then she does a free action and removes the barrier, and then your maggots can then drop their pods and do their poison and autonomous attacks and after being carried.
Great. I mean, it seems like a really good matchup against a lot of the, because I just noticed that there was a lot of Molecule Man being played, and there was a lot of barrier being played in the event, and so that seems like a good matchup for you against a lot of the teams.
Yep. And that's so the 2 things I needed to worry that I figured were the most important for the current meta is high theme to win map and how to deal with barrier, and this team was effective at both pretty easily. As far as winning map, so of the 9 games I played, I won map 7 times, so that was a pretty high favor for that.
I have a few questions from the fans as well. Okay. So this question was posted on Facebook by McConnell Lamar. He says, what was the most interesting team that you faced against? And assuming that it's not the same, what was the most challenging team that you faced? So the most interesting team and the most challenging team.
Most challenging. Start with the most challenging, because this is I played it twice. I played Wes Summers in Swiss for round 5, and then I played him in the second round for top 8. He was playing a Hellfire swap team. So Hellfire, you've got the options of Exodus, the 2x2 he was using that could stop you from charging in. And then he has the Harry Leland that can stop you from dropping maggots. Specifically for my team, stops maggots. And then he could use Emma Frost that prevents you from shooting from range. So we had a lot of pieces that I had to work around. One of the maps that I lost was him in Swiss, and he brought me to Ancient Hold, and my team does not do good on Ancient Hold. It doesn't have a whole lot of destroying barrier unless I waste an action to do it. But Exodus, the one from Rise and Fall, his mind control, damaging the opponent after mind controlling is kind of what won me that game.
So, and that was Brotherhood swap, you said, or
Hellfire? Yeah, it was a
Hellfire
team, and then swapped out using the Magneto 40.1, and then he swapped out. So when he lost map and he went to Otherworld Castle, he did not bring in Harry Leland or Emma Frost, and so I was able to shoot him with Jubilee and then go in them with the maggots. And then on Ancient Hold, it was just a whole lot of barriers and walls that I couldn't navigate very easily, so it was hard to get through to him.
And so how did you win with Exodus, you said?
So the Exodus one, he was using the 2x2 Exodus on his team with the Emma Frost that you can pick an improved targeting ability depending on how many actions she has.
Yes.
And so he has an 8 range mind control, and he can ignore walls, he can ignore characters, he can ignore hindering depending on what he needed for that turn. I was using Exodus with I did not use Dark Phoenix, I used Cypher, so I'd have some barrier, and I was able to use one of my cable clones to blow up a wall, open up a running shot, mind control with Exodus, and then I was able to mind control his Exodus, and I used his Exodus to punch his Magneto and ended up crit missing. So he took a damage from that. Then I moved away, dealt 4 damage, got him to his last click, and then Maggot's poison pug killed Exodus. And at that point, the game was already late, and I was up on points at that point, and he didn't have enough time to come back from that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so, and that was, you guys were both playing the same Exodus, right? Because I'm getting a little confused.
So he was doing the The
Oh, he
Exodus
was
2
playing
by
the
2.
2x2. He was playing the 2x2 Exodus.
Yeah,
Got it.
from X. Yes.
Got it.
And
Okay.
that would
And
be a sequel
you were
based.
playing the mind control damage after resolutions
Yes.
Exodus. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. And what about the most interesting team you faced?
And the most
Or
interesting team, it was actually a non-theme. It was Isaac's team. He was playing non-theme good stuff with a swap, which I thought was super interesting.
hmm
He was playing, or he ended up with Blackheart, Jason Wingard, um, Chip with Felix Faust, Hellfire Guard, and a Dark Phoenix. And so and the boxing ring. So he would park himself in the boxing ring, which gives him another prob. And then Exodus just messes with your prob, or not Exodus. Felix Faust messes with your own probs, and then Chip gives everyone ESD, and his Hellfire Guard. Anyone on his team that is a main target, Blackheart, Jason Wingard, Dark Phoenix, can mastermind to the Hellfire Guard.
hmm
So that was really tough too. That was in the finals that I played him, and taking out his team was really, really hard to target anybody because he had all mastermind and ESD, and the re-rolling was tough to navigate.
Yeah. No, I played against him too, and that was a really good. That was a really good team. I mean, he played against me. I mean, I was just playing Tyler's Animals team. Tyler did super well with. And he just going against Harry Leland is so tough because
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, he didn't use Harry Leland with you though.
Nope. He went with Jason Wingard and Blackheart, and
Jason Wingard and Blackheart. Okay.
the Jubilee Maggots trick is really good taking out Blackheart.
Right.
But I almost just got annihilated that next turn with Jason Wingard's mind control chain because he just mind controlled the whole team. And
So now, how do you utilize Jubilee and the maggots to take out a Blackheart?
so she runs up and she has invincible, so I don't have to worry about the mystic damage. And he doesn't reduce penetrating, so she does penetrating psychic blast. I dual target Blackheart and the Hellfire Guard next to him, so he can't mastermind.
Mm-hmm.
And then I deal at least 2 damage to him to get him to his first stop click. Then he generates a second guard, and then the maggot. He doesn't have a reducer on this stop clicks, so I bring over the maggots and then drop a poison pog, and then eat that one back up, and then the other maggot drops the poison pog to poison him to kill him.
Ah, okay, because his stop clicks, they don't have any reducers on his stop clicks. Didn't realize that. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a really good, but then I did all that my first turn and took out his black card. I was like, all right, I'm up 75 points. And then I immediately go down. I think he killed like 130 points on that next turn with his Phoenix Retail and his rookie Pog from Jason, and then the Jason mind control chain. It was awful. But it worked out in my favor somehow. Jubilee just stuck through it and she didn't die. Like the whole 9 games I played, Jubilee never died one time.
Okay, and so now I have another question for you. This one comes from Maddie G. If WizKids came to you and let you pick out and design a new figure, who would you choose?
The figure. So I grew up. My confession: I've never read a single comic in my life. I just grew up watching the X-Men cartoons and stuff on when I was like WizKids, or not WizKids, WB, Kids WB, growing up. And the Nightcrawler was my favorite X-Men at the time, so I would definitely want to make a good Nightcrawler. If I had to pick a DC one, I would go with Swamp Thing, because I feel like that's the Swamp Thing that we got did not get his time to shine.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah. I think Swamp Thing is like our creative choice, and Nightcrawler is definitely like a good choice too, because Nightcrawler is like an awesome member of the X-Men. Like he's cool.
And he's had a pretty good click in the past. He's got some really good clicks, but I just think that'd be a fun one to have. And Swamp Thing, he's just a really interesting, a really neat figure. So I'd like to have another one of him.
So I also wanted to do something a little bit fun, because it's getting closer to the holidays, right? With Christmas, there's the 12 days of Christmas, right? So I have prepared here is I have 12 figures from Empyre, or technically from Empyre. Not all of them are from Empyre, but 12 figures. Coinciding with the 12 days of Christmas, and kind of a little game we could play here is I'm gonna name a figure, and you tell me in 1 or 2 sentences, just sum up that entire figure in like 1 sentence, like
pros and cons of it, or what my thoughts are on it.
what your thoughts, pros and cons, whatever you want to say, just say something about that figure. So if I say the figure, you say something about that figure, whatever comes to mind that kind of sums up the figure, right?
Okay.
Based on and we could also go into it on more with more detail after you make the statement. I do have Clix Nexus ready to look at so that we can look at some of these figures. But starting with Venom Magneto, that would be number 1. Venom Magneto.
Venom Magneto is going to be the piece I think is going to have the most impact on the meta. Probably the most popular dial is 35 points. Free TK, power TK, passenger 4. For 35 points leadership also. He's already made a spot on my sideline for X-Men because he has the X-Men keyword. But I think he's going to be the most used and sought after chase. I was lucky to pull in one of the cases I got for Worlds. I got a Venom Chase Magneto. So
nice. So you as the world champion, you won a whole lot of prizing. What was the prizing like? Not to veer off course, though. We're still going to get back to number 2 in a second.
Sure. So got 2 cases of the Empyre, the new set, and then Majestics. They're sending their newest map. It's based on Predator, the Predator map. I don't know the name of it, but it's the new map that's based on the Predator's hunting ground. And then I'm getting a trophy from, I believe, from Clixstoff. They're sending that. And then a whole bunch of feat cards from Majestics. And then I'm getting another Scott Porter Pog
awesome.
From that.
Awesome. And also, did you get a Scott Porter cameo also, right? Or
oh yeah, and the Scott Porter cameo. Yeah, I got to see that the other day. It was pretty sweet.
Nice. Congratulations to you again. It's a job well done. So number 2 on the list is the Fantastic Four storyline figures that were previewed today.
The just released ones. So we're looking at Invisible Woman, Mr. Thing, and who else was on there?
Maybe. Well, there was a bunch of legacy cards too, but
oh yeah, the
let me look.
Dr. Doom legacy card with I think the Thanos was on there too.
So let's look at the Fantastic Four storyline figures. Oh gosh, I wouldn't know where to look for that actually.
F4SOP should be.
There we go. So we have Reed Richards Alpha.
Reed Richards Alpha. That
looks like there's a wizard, or is that
okay?
That might be something else. Reed Richards Alpha.
Okay. This is Reed Richards Alpha, unavoidable damage. I haven't looked at that one a whole lot. The 2 that I've looked at the most were the Invisible Woman, her trait getting to give someone like cosmic and improved targeting. That's just solid. Probably at 65 points is her most usable click number.
Yeah.
But
although, I mean, I gotta admit, when I saw that 250 point line,
oh yeah,
I mean,
number
it was cool.
Super good with hypersonic, and I don't know if this was made previous to the rule change, but hypersonic is in that power, so that means that power is coming back now. It is no longer benched, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, either that or this was made previous. But if it was made previous, that's pretty good for what she does. I mean,
yeah.
Because you know what? The reason why I think it was made after the rules change is because they did this thing where if she knocks back a character after resolutions, deal them 1 penetrating damage. So that's like almost like a It's like kind of like bringing back knockback damage a little bit. You know what I mean? So
Which
that's fun.
makes me think it was done after the rules change because
But yeah, her at 65 points, you were saying is probably better. Oh, yeah, for sure it is, and competitively.
yep.
But if she
But
if
the,
she,
the the first damage, the first stop click saying you can choose as someone that has a friendly character shares a keyword. So cosmic, Fantastic Four, and then for the characters that grant Latveria to cosmic figures. So it can there's a whole lot of figures she can share a keyword with that then gain combat values +1, cosmic energy, and improved targeting, hindering, and destroys blocking and shoots out adjacency. I mean, that's just crazy. That's good.
mm-hmm. And this
So
is
I like her a lot.
and this is the my understanding is this is the Captain Universe version of Invisible Woman, which is why she's like super powerful,
Mm.
which is really cool.
And she herself has cosmic energy, so she can't be outwitted. So that's another
And then this is
very
the
good.
Thing, which also he also has 2 stop clicks.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Super strength,
Poison.
so you can use him to break a heavy object or punch with a heavy object. And then he can heal 2 clicks from the Fantastic Four team ability. So that's another good one for 60 points with 2 stop clicks.
So what would be your overall thoughts of these? Oh yeah, and then we have the Silver Surfer. I'm sorry I didn't show that. But yeah, this is the Silver Surfer, kind of like a cool rainbow Silver Surfer, or prismatic, and then 150 points, and also he's at 75 points. Um,
Giant reach because I don't know 10. He does a perplex, so he can make himself an 11. I don't think that him having charge is for 75 points. That's a lot for someone who when we have Sky Tyrant that's 50 with 11 charge. Just
yeah,
it's hard to compare a 75 to a 50 point, but I don't think that one will be used as much.
but
Um,
okay. So a 1 sentence summary of the Fantastic Four storyline figures. Would you say
Thanos is probably going to be the most used.
the
I mean,
Thanos?
I like the Doctor Doom's mosquito pogs. I love those hypersonic exploit. Um, I like that little pog generating, but I think Thanos is probably the most competitive of all of them.
Oh, you think that Thanos is? I didn't think he was competitive. Let me take a look at him again.
He's 175 points, and then he just has a whole bunch of pickup powers. He reduced penetrating. He has a free regen, free phasing, um, with a whole lot of reducers and a long dial. It gets easier to hit as you go down to potentially a 10 defense, which is almost nothing. But when you're starting with invul and reduced pen, and then you can free phasing and free regen, it's just going to be hard to lock him down.
Nice.
And then he has mind control is free too. So depending on how many you roll, if you roll is it 5 or a 6, you can pick 3 different gems to use.
Yeah, that is pretty good actually. Yeah, if you roll a 5 or 6.
So his dial's not just because it's almost naked except for defense, but his stats, his values are high. He's got 10 range, double target, and lots of things he could end up with.
I mean, I definitely want him. I looked for this figure to try to like buy it so that I could get um the legacy for it, and he's very hard to find.
I think that's how it is with most legacy cards. As soon as they're spoiled, they're all going to be hard to find right then because everyone's like going to eBay or Amazon and looking for it.
Absolutely, yeah.
Or
And I wasn't playing the game
back.
back when it came out, so I don't know how long. That's one thing I wanted to ask you too. Like, just how long have you been playing in general?
Yeah, so I started. My uncle John got me and my brother and I into it when I was probably 14 when we first came out with Infinity Challenge and Unleashed. I don't remember what the first couple of sets were, but I've been started playing when it first came out. Back when like Fire Lord was big, and there was a unique Amazo that I was really big fan of, and Superman, like the old beat stick Superman. So I was playing a lot of that with my brother growing up, and then kind of took a break in high school, and then back when Nick Fury Agents of Shield was the current meta, I started playing competitive in Tulsa, and that's kind of how the Clixman found me, was a tournament there.
Very nice. Very nice.
But Nick Fury, that set was my favorite. He's so good.
Yeah, the Nick Fury from that set was awesome. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So we did Venom Magneto. We did the Fantastic Four storyline figures. Third one. What are your thoughts on Thor: Herald of Galactus, the Thor chase from Empyre?
Disappointing. The sculpt is amazing. I think it's my favorite sculpt of Thor that we have. He's so awesome looking at, but I don't think that he will be as competitive. Not reducing penetrating is a huge downfall for him because he doesn't have invincible, and so when you have pieces like Sky Tyrant that just hit him, and I don't know, I just think he's not going to be as easy to keep alive.
Yeah, I agree. I think his sculpt is maybe the top 2 sculpts I've ever seen. Like
it's fantastic.
Like that, maybe a King Shazam that just came out in Wonder Woman 80, or like I think this one's even better. I think this is like the number 1 sculpt. Like it's really good.
Yep.
But I agree with you. I think he'll be fun to play in a casual game at 300 points.
Casual game. Yep, for sure.
Yeah. What about Venom Wolverine? Number 4, Venom Wolverine.
Is this the Chase Wolverine, or is this
the Chase X-23? Yeah. What about her?
I like her being able to attack for free. I think that's pretty cool. So she can, if you're on an Alpha Strike team, but I think Alpha Strike teams are wanting more lower points like Maggot, Medusa, Atom, Micron type pieces. So I don't think, because her range, her charge is not as good as current pieces that are charging and less points. Mm-hmm. I do like their new trait. If you're within 4, you can't shoot her with range, and then traded senses. But I guess with Monster Team, if you're wanting an Alpha Strike monster, I don't know what other keyword she has. I guess she would have X-Men, maybe. I don't know. I haven't looked at her keyword.
I think she has X-Men. I think she does have X-Men. But I do like her a lot, actually, because, personally, let's just look at, here it is. Wolverine. So the thing about Wolverine that I think is so good is that, she has combat reflexes, 18 defense. So you could just go base her against somebody, and tie somebody up, and she can't be shot at. She wouldn't be able to.
Yeah, that's good.
She won't be able to be shot at. And she's got the plasticity. She's got super senses. She'll have a 20 defense from close. So I think that's what's cool about her. Oh, and also she's a team player too, so she could copy the Wonder Woman team ability or something like that, and then get added super senses. I think there's a lot of potential for her. I don't know if she's really. I think she's like a tie-up piece. That's just how I feel.
Yeah,
about her.
I think I agree. Base her with 20. It's kind of like with Spider-Ham when he bases you, and but you have to be by yourself. So it's a little bit different than Spider-Ham, but he comes in and he says you can't target him or the person he's next to if you're only next to each other, and he's got reflexes. This one is reflexes, but it can't be targeted by anyone. Doesn't matter if it's one person or multiple people she's based with.
Yeah. And not to mention she can attack every turn once she ties you up.
With a free attack and then clear afterwards, or she can do a second action attack and then free attack after that, which is kind of how Punisher War Machine worked.
Ah, yes.
Range.
Yeah, cool. That's cool. So, what about, all right, so we looked at Venom Magneto, the Fantastic Four storyline figures, Thor, Venom Wolverine. What are your thoughts on Venom Rogue? Venom Rogue.
Until she gets an errata, this is going to be the second most meta defining. Her copying special powers, I just think there's going to be so many combos that make her bonkers. Some that I've heard other people talk about and thought about myself. The copying Colossal Retaliation, I think, is going to be big.
Uh-huh.
think Dark Phoenix is a good one when she can give 2 penetrating to everyone and it's free, and then she can attack afterwards. I think another good one is the 25-point Fulcrum, when she can say you can't use defensive powers, and she's doing 12 for 4, and then attacks after that. So copying retails is going to be really good. Also copying things like Sky Tyrant, then you have another full move charge, move away after they're done hitting.
Now, do you think it should get an errata or?
Yeah, I think it should, because I think that she's going to be one of those pieces that you have to. I mean, every team's going to have to be able to deal with her, and it's almost impossible to avoid.
Even at 75 points though, because she's 75 points, isn't she? Or
yeah, I looked at doing a monster team with her and Sky Tyrant, and then she instead of Blackheart, because being able to copy Scarab even, and then she can attack across the map is another really good option.
Mm-hmm.
She only has, I think her range is low, like 3 or 4. It's not a very big range, but she can still do it. Or copying Sky Tyrant, or copying
let's say she copies Sky Tyrant though. I mean, wouldn't it be better just to play 2 Sky Tyrants? Or
it would be, but she can also copy others. So my ideal scenario, and this is what I was with monsters, is first turn she copies the Proteus for retail. Next turn you get to retail with her, and then you send Sky Tyrant across, and then you copy Sky Tyrant, because she can do it until she chooses again.
Okay.
So you hit with Sky Tyrant, and then you hit with Rogue, and Rogue carries them both away after retailing. That's ideal, and I don't know how well that would work, but that's my ideal scenario.
Okay.
So it's using the double, kind of like with the emotional modifier, when you can stick with what you chose, and then that next turn you can use both. So you stick with what you chose, and then you switch at the end of your turn. This is similar, because you can use it until you choose again. So you stay with what you picked, do it, and then switch to your next turn.
All right, and then so we have that. Those are 5. Number 6 is Ultron Pym. What are your thoughts on Ultron Pym?
Or the prime, or the unique?
The prime. This is the prime. The prime.
This makes the mission points doable. I think that he's going to be one of those really expensive primes to get, and he's how many points is he? He's only like 6 clicks or 5 clicks. He's not a very long dial, but it gives you prob. It gives you poison. But
Ultron Pym is 80 points.
80 points, yeah.
6 clicks. Some pretty good stats, to be honest. Those are really good stats.
Yeah, I think that trait, that first one, is huge too. With theme teams being as prevalent as they are, if you want to use prob, you take an unavoidable. And it's not penetrating, so it gets around invincible, which is important.
Yeah.
So that's a tough one. And you cannot win him. He's got impervious. 6 clicks long. Yeah. But the mastermind's good, and then the given the mission points, I think from what I understand, it stacks. So if you have 2 on the card, you get 3 mission points or something. However, it stacks up.
Yeah, it does stack. But he has to do the power action in order to remove an infinity marker. So I don't think the Ultron
there's a slow build up.
Clones can. Yeah, it's still a slow build up, because he's the one that has to do the power action.
Okay, so maybe it's not as likely hit on the mission points, but I think the probability control, having it himself, and then his keywords. I mean, he's Avengers, Robot, Ruler, Scientist, all super good. And then having the trait that deals the damage. Now, the downside is you can retail from that, because you're dealing damage. So it's got its downsides to that.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. All right, so let's take a look at number 7. Number 7 is Super Rare Wolverine. What do you think about this figure?
This one I love a lot. I think that Golden Age or Silver Age, you'll see this being an ID battery. Very, very good ID battery. I also don't. There's been talks about if he starts on the sideline and is swapped in with Professor X, since he doesn't pick a target, if he just can't be targeted until he attacks, which then makes him a really good tie-up piece.
And a really good ID battery too.
Yeah, yeah. You run up and you can't outwit him until he attacks. So he's got toughness. You can't just poison him unless you're doing penetrating poison. And he's got a 12 blades exploit. So having him on the sideline of X-Men or just starting him main force, and you have a 50-point piece, and well, he is unique, but a 50-point piece that you can't do anything to until he decides to attack you.
Yeah.
So I like that piece a lot.
He's going to get the first attack no matter what.
Yep.
Pretty much.
And unless you could do penetrating, like the Chase Widow, the recruits could damage him with one. They could just do penetrating poison on him. But not many figures can get through that without him attacking first.
Yeah. No, I love this piece too. I think he's really cool.
Yeah, the ID potential is. I'm glad that ID cards are not current in Modern, because he would be a huge ID battery.
Yeah, I'm actually wondering what are there any tournaments that are still running ID cards, or like are there still any tournament scenes or anywhere? I mean, I know Majestics does Bronze Age, but I don't know if they allow ID cards. Do they? Or
some of them do. Some of them are Bronze Age limited, which doesn't, and then they have the regular Bronze Age, which does. I know some people are doing Silver Age, but not like very large competitive scenes are doing Silver. But if you can use ID cards and you have this piece, it's a really good battery. It's kind of like the old school Mystique, that if she didn't have what was her thing? You couldn't attack her if she had an action, or you couldn't, the one that ran around, had sidestep, ignored characters. Oh, yeah, if you didn't start adjacent to her, you couldn't attack her or something like that. And so she could just sidestep away and ignore you. And so this is very similar. You can't attack unless he attacks you.
All right, so number 8.
And he's only 50 points.
Yeah, he's only 50 points.
That's all.
But 50 points is enough for a lot of ID cards, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But also like on your X-Men swap team, I'm sure he's a good option.
Yeah, for 50 points. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, so number 8 would be super rare Captain America, the Avengers swap Captain America.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on him?
When I first saw this, I was super excited because I'm a huge Black Widow chase. It's one of my favorite pieces to use. Was. And she's 100 points. He's 100 points. Perfect swap. And then I realized that his swap trait does not work the same because he cannot leave the map. So you have to use him at a lower point value because he's not worded the same as Professor X or Magneto. He has to stay on the map when you swap.
Right.
But it does make Avengers having their swap ability. I think that's really good because Black Widow is really good, but against certain teams, she's just not going to do well at all. But you can swap to like Immortal Hulk for he's 100 points, or the Captain Marvel is an Avenger that's 95 points. So it does open the options. I don't think the theme can be high enough with Avengers because they don't have a whole lot of low point. They have the AIM squad, the red, white, and blue squads, but they're 20 points and 25 points and 30 points, I think.
Yeah.
So you can't get a high theme. Now, again, Golden Age, you can use the
Giant Girl.
Giant Girl. So that's a way to bump your theme. So I think Golden Age, maybe see him for that mechanic more.
Okay.
But the piece itself in sealed is going to be a beast. For 100 points, being 11 clicks long is good.
Okay. Okay. Have you had a chance to play any sealed tournaments?
Nope, not for this set.
Empyre? No, not yet. Okay. How about so this would be number 9 out of 12. Venom Marvel Girl. I know people were excited for the sculpt. People were really excited for the sculpt. I could share her on the screen here. Let's take a look. Venom Marvel Girl. She's a rare.
Right there to the left, down.
Did I miss her? There it is.
Under. Yeah, yeah.
Here's her 60-point line, which is I think what people. Well, she also here's her at 100 points, and then her 60 points is just her last 4 clicks.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the sculpt. You can see.
Sculpt is amazing.
Yeah, people were getting really psyched for this because it's like Phoenix, Venomized. It's really cool, right?
Oh yeah, that's a good sculpt. Okay, let's look at the powers. We have improved targeting characters, plasticity, the symbiote trait, mind control sidestep. Mind control is free, but only target opposing characters in 4 squares. That's good. It is only 1 bolt, so it's a single target mind control unless you give her the reality gem and has 2. TK, use it, resolutions, roll a d6. What does the rest of that power say? The tendril kinesis. What does the rest of that say?
Sorry.
3 to 4, heal the place character 1 click, make a close attack, target an opposing character adjacent to the place character regardless of adjacency. So TK is kind of nifty. Mind control sidestep with TK. I think she's kind of supporty, but I'm not excited about her for competitive.
Do you think she? I mean, like, what is there? What like
It is enhanced.
Interesting, good, bad.
I don't think she's bad. She does have defend of 17, which is kind of low on her 60-point dial. The enhancement's good. Being able to, so like for monsters, giving rookie a plus to his attack or to his damage is really good. But not starting with prob for 60 points. I think the keywords monster and X-Men will be the most commonly used one.
Tell it TK with target through characters is kind of cool.
That is nifty. Yeah, that's a pretty neat trick. And potentially to attack after, but she only does 10 for 2, so it's not really doing a whole lot of damage output.
Yeah, no, she has the potential to do that free mind control though. So she could like sidestep. Yeah, she could sidestep TK, get an attack, make a close attack after her TK. If she TKs someone, that's actually kind of cool. If she rolls a 5 or a 6, though, and it's very
like essentially 3 actions. 2 of them are free.
Yeah, I don't know. She's interesting, but I agree. I don't think she's competitive for sure.
Yeah, the traded senses is good with Cosmic. You know, the symbiote, the new symbiote trait. That's a nice little rollout, but again, Tyrant just, if they don't hit senses, just dies.
Yeah, I wonder why they gave her the 17 defend and no prob. Like, I feel like she should have prob and like a little bit of a higher defense. But
if pushing was still a thing, I would like it to be able to push her to click 2, but that's not.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. So now we have number 10, which would be any of the Deadpools from this set.
I think the most competitive is going to be the Deadpool holding the shark, the unique one, just because he can switch out for Blackheart or Sky Tyrant, and gives you a free pog with blades. I think that's going to be your most competitive piece. As far as the sculpt, the one on the surfboard, Cosmic Deadpool just looks cool.
Yeah. You know, for me, I think I like the chase. I think the chase could be competitive. I don't know how competitive, but and I also don't necessarily love the rare, the one holding the dolphin, holding Jeff the dolphin. I like him because obviously he's good. He's gonna be competitive because he's gonna be on your sideline, and he'll come in if like Blackheart dies or something like that. But you might not always want that to happen because you're giving up extra points.
It is, yeah. It's kind of like the secret identity trait or the using Peggy Carter. You just giving up.
Yeah. So When a friendly character is 75 points, Blackheart. It's or more with the master. With
Oh,
the
it's or more, not or less. So you can't do a Sky Tyrant.
Yeah, so it has to be 75 points or more. So is KO'd. After resolutions, you may generate Deadpool on his red starting line. So he comes in at 40 points. But then if they KO him, then they get 40 more points.
Mm-hmm.
So
And he's not that hard to kill.
But, I mean, at least he opens up options. I think that's really good. It is really good because not having the option of adding a new character to your to the game is, it's obviously good to have that option,
Mm-hmm.
And he's got the bystander. The bystander is let me see. What does Jeff do?
Yeah, he gets charged blades with exploit. I mean, it's a non-attack, but charged blades exploit is always good.
Yeah, that's always good. Yeah. So hey, you know what? Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like more of an offensive piece. It's really cool though. And then, I mean, I agree with you. I think he's definitely competitive, but I think the chase is also competitive too. Because if we look at Deadpool at 75 points, I mean, he's not going to be the best figure in competitive, but I think you could build around him because
He also has blades exploit.
Yeah, he's got charge blades exploit. He's got super senses. He's got the team player team ability, so he could copy like Wonder Woman. He could copy Green Lantern, and that's really good because he's got the Herald keyword. So if you just put him and Chip on a team, and you can copy Green Lantern team ability, and then he runs through blocking and destroys blocking, and you can carry people around for 12 speed, move through blocking. So that I think is good. He's got good keywords. He's got Cosmic, he's got X-Men, he's got Herald. I think Herald is becoming a stronger keyword. Plus, he's got the stop click.
He has the potential to take away Cosmic Energy or Power Cosmic to make characters outwittable if you roll a 4 through 6.
Yeah. So I mean, I think I like both Deadpools. I think this Deadpool also looks really good, but I think they both have like competitive quality dials. Not necessarily auto plays, but
I think you will not see the Deadpool played at 175 except in sealed. But if he is a competitive, it'll be 75 for sure.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. Yeah, for sure.
I don't think you'll ever see the rare Deadpool main force. It'll always be sideline.
Yeah, and then the rare Deadpool will always be sideline for sure. Yeah, and then this one, yeah, this would be just a purely casual dial, 175 points.
Yep.
What about Monica Rambeau? What is your thoughts on Monica Rambeau? A lot of people like her.
I don't even know who Monica Rambeau is. I need to see this on.
She's a rare.
There she is.
Here. This is her at 150. She's just kind of cool. She's
pretty neat sculpt.
The sculpt is neat, but then also, so she's like a Captain Marvel, in the comics. She's like she's one of the Captain Marvels, and these are her powers that she has.
You may place her in the square she occupied when given the action. Okay, so she can running shot and then voot back. 50-50 voot back to where she started. Facing teleport uses after resolution, she may make an attack on the target opposing character she moved through this turn regardless of JC range or line of fire. Okay. I like that. What's her lower point dial look like?
Let me look. She's got a 50-point dial.
Oh, but she loses the speed, her movement power.
She loses the phasing teleport thing, but she can still use the boot back thing after her running shot, because that's a trait.
And she's got triple target Pensai with 3 damage. So you can kill Colossals pretty easily Wendigos pretty easily. And she's got leadership. No stop click, but she's 50 points with leadership, running shot, Pensai, triple bolt. I like that. I like that point value.
Yeah. Yeah, I think she is a solid figure.
Ooh, go back. Does that trait mean action +1 with leadership? So potentially you could have 5 actions that turn?
Yes.
Okay. Yep. That's like Legacy Cyclops, but
And also
they
she's not unique. So
not unique, so you could you could have lots of actions. And she's Avengers. You can play her with Captain America and swap out some stuff.
yeah. Mhm. All right. So that was 11, and now we're on to our 12th day of Christmas. This is the 12th figure that we're going to talk about. But it's really kind of a cheat. I'm kind of cheating here. I'm going to let you decide what the 12th figure is. What is your I was going to say that your favorite Chase figure that hasn't already been mentioned, but it really could be any figure that we haven't mentioned from Empyre. Is there something that we haven't mentioned that you've been excited about?
I like the Beast Chase, the 70 point.
75 point line?
Yep. Again, I'm partial to X-Men swap, but just his ability to take away protected or safeguard outwit and then outwit you, and then potentially outwitting everyone with the same power. That right there, the outwit prob. Oh, he has prob too. Opposing characters in range can't use safeguard outwit or protected outwit, and then he has outwit himself, and then within 4 squares of the beast, so not line of fire, so he can just take away stop clicks from lots of people, and then kill. So Blackheart is a really, really good piece to use this against.
Yes. Actually, I was thinking because I've been looking at this beast and trying to make him work on like a mystical team. But I always almost want to play Blackheart instead of Beast for 75 points.
Mm-hmm.
Because, he's 75 points is still kind of a lot to expend. Plus, he's only 4 clicks long. But I do love his power, so that's why I want to make him work and, do good things with him.
Yeah, he's expensive. That's a big downside. But his sculpt, though, that's not a good-looking sculpt. I mean, these sculpts in this are fantastic.
It definitely is. I mean, there it is right there. I should be zooming in on these sculpts a little bit more. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw the Norrin Rad. Have you seen the Norrin Rad? So the paint job on Norrin Rad is just amazing.
Yeah, with the cryptic little symbols on his board.
Yeah, and in person, the paint job on him is just like they shaded him everywhere, and it just looks really good. What are some other sculpts? Yeah, we have Deadpool.
Deadpool's a good one. I like the Demon in Armor and the Iron Man. What's the other similar to this one, but Iron Man's version?
Oh, the infamous Iron Man.
The infamous Iron Man, the title character. Yeah, those both look really good.
This Demon in Armor. Do you think this is a competitive piece?
Oh yeah, this is one that I definitely think will be used up a lot. The trait that he has, or is it trait or defensive? The trait that he has, not getting to increase your values. I mean, this is ideal for a non-theme with the defend Green Lantern and
Felix
Leland.
Faust? Or Leland?
Yeah. You come in, you're not increasing your values, you're actually -2. You shoot from range against ESD, you're not increasing your damage or your attack. And then if you're Felix Faust and you get to prob it, maybe you get to prob it. I think that this is a really good defensive piece. It's very similar to the old Nighthawk Prime.
Nice.
But this is not a Prime, so I think it's great. And the powers he has, sidestep, TK, outwit. I mean, that's just really, really good.
Here's the sculpt on Venom Magneto.
Best chase in the set.
Oh, yeah. Now, what would you use him for? like mainly? Like, what do you think is what do you think is the standout power on Venom Magneto?
TK is free. That's the best thing he has right now. Just TK is free.
I mean, yeah, he could be a taxi as well because he carries 4 people, but
Yeah. If I'm having to choose, it's TK is free. But the cool thing about him with the he can, if you use him in his higher point line, and he can like TK himself out for free and then running shot, and he's got, I think it was a full map reach
yeah, he
or
does.
close
If
to
you
it.
use him at 100 points, yeah, he can TK himself out 6. Oh, he easily has full map reach because he TK himself out 6 squares, then running shot 6 squares,
8, 10, 12, 15, and
and
then
he's got
shoot.
eight range.
So, yeah, to score 23. Yep.
Yeah.
So that's really good. The TK is free is just, but any TK is free is good. With X-Men team that I use, I have the Cable clones who do TK is free, and that came in handy every game. I mean, it was
Mm-hmm.
just, but having him on the X-Men team, now I have 2 people that can TK is free.
Here's a sculpt on the Hulk.
Super good.
Super good sculpt. I actually think this is one of the worst chases in the set.
Right. Yeah, yes. Playability wise, no. No. But health wise, yes.
Sculpt is
Definitely.
really cool though. Yeah. Let's see. Here's the Avengers Thanos.
Yep.
I think they really did a good job on all the sculpts in this set. Whoever's been doing the sculpts, like,
Oh, there's Thor. There's the Thor one.
oh yeah, let's not skip Thor. And this looks even better in person because you have the like just the ravens on the side are just really cool, dude. Like he's got like ravens on the side, just hanging out.
Like the sculpt itself is huge. Like in
It's huge.
person, it's a big.
Yeah, it's very big. All right, so we talked about a lot of stuff as far as like Empyre. Just overall, Caleb, let me get your opinion on how you think this set, the Empyre set, is going to change um, the meta or the competitive scene overall.
I think the biggest pieces that we'll see are going to be the Venom Magneto. I think he's going to be the most popular. Demon and Armor, I think, is going to be a very popular one, and Venom Rogue are going to be, all of them are going to be used a lot. So,
Although I do think that they're gonna errata Venom Rogue.
yes, until she's eroded, I think she will be. But when she is changed, inevitably, then her usability is a little bit less. But currently, I think she's going to be. I mean, she makes it to where your team can have 2 retails, and 1 retail you really can't deal with until she gets the retail.
Mm-hmm.
Just because she's got a long die with traded senses, and I think she's 7 clicks long, and she has like an 11 attack the entire dial, if not a 12 on her top click. So she's a really, really good one. I think Magneto gives you a super good taxi with leadership, free TK, which helps out with your Alpha Strike teams. And I think that the Demon and Armor makes it very defensive, and it kind of makes your opponent think about using Prob, because if they use Prob control with their Colossal on a theme team, the Colossal then dies. So it decreases the use of your opponent's Prob, and they can't increase their values, which is going to be very, very tough to get around.
And so, like, if you were gonna pick a figure, like Venom Magneto's probably the number 1 figure, but I don't know if you could really build a team just around Venom Magneto because he's more of a support figure,
Mm-hmm.
at 35 points. So, like, what figure would you say is something you could really build around in Empyre?
The build between those 3 or the
Just
whole set?
anything.
I think that Captain America, if you're doing a swap out, I think that'd be a team to, if you're wanting to build around a figure, I think that's a good one to do a swap out mechanic. But I think non-theme with the Demon and Armor is a very solid choice, as long as you can have damage output on top of the defensive pieces. I think that would be a really good team to build around, because you can pick any support, any high defense, any even Q with his roles and Felix Faust. I mean, you could just build a team that's almost impossible to damage.
Yeah. And what would you put on that team for damage output? Sky Tyrant or?
Yeah, 50-point Sky Tyrant, super good. I mean, Blackheart's kind of expensive, but even a Charge Flash.
Okay.
I think that's it. I don't know. I don't think Maggot would be as good because he needs transport, but a retail, I would say either Dark Phoenix or Fulcrum Abominus, or even the Giganta Prime. I think that's a good one too, with her retail power.
Good. I mean, thank you. Actually, these are all good ideas. I'm gonna be starting to do this myself. Yeah.
Well, and the thing to think about is with the Green Lantern having defend and the mitt, they're getting essentially a 21 defense no matter what defense they have. So if they've got a printed 17 like Giganta, she becomes a 21 from range, and you can't increase your attack to attack her.
Wait, say this again. So with what? With the catcher's mitt, you mean?
Yeah, Green Lantern. So he has defend 19. So
Yeah.
you make any defense a 19, and then you have the catcher's mitt to make it 21 with range. So any defense value doesn't matter. They're going to be a 21 from range if you position around the catcher's mitt.
Yeah, as long as you position around the catcher's mitt and you position around and the emotional modifier too.
And modifier.
Yeah, equip the modifier. Yeah, that's.
I'm telling you, can make a team that's almost impossible to do any attacks. They're doing anything. Yep. So maybe the new plan is to use Beast, and you have to run up and just use maggots to drop a poison and outwit their defense. I don't know how that would be worked around.
Something to think about. By the way, I wanted to mention this in this video. I am running my second annual Coffee and Clix Classic Epilepsy Foundation charity event. It's an online Roll20 event. I am epileptic myself, so it is something that means a lot to me as a good cause. And you can find out more information about that event on the Coffee and Clix Facebook group. I've been sending around information about the event. It's a Roll20 event. It's for charity. It's for the Epilepsy Foundation, and it is 300 modern. Empyre will be legal for the event. So will the Fantastic Four storyline figures. I presume those will be legal by the time the event starts, and it starts in mid-January. So January 15th is when the event starts. I know, Caleb, you are already signed up for the event, I think.
Oh yeah.
So,
yeah. I signed.
So something to think about. You might want to play that Demon and Armor team.
Demon Arbor high defense, and as long as I get a damage output,
people will be missing with like 11s.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you hit a 9, you still missed. Ah, that's it.
So, all right. Well, once again, Caleb, thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for joining me on Coffee and Clix. Congratulations on your World Championship win. The Bradcast World Championship that was just happened about a week ago. So I think it was last weekend, right? Or
yep, last Sunday.
Yeah, so last Sunday. So congratulations on your World Championship win. And people at home, don't forget to subscribe. If you enjoy my content, click on the link tree found in the description of this video for my social media. Links to my social media. And don't forget, everybody, wake up and smell the Clix. Good night.
Thanks for having me.